Hey everybody, this is your daily dose of all things royal. Welcome back everybody. This is part 4 of this little mini series covering the blind items from Crazy Days and Nights. If you haven't seen the other 3, I link the playlist at the end of this video, so feel free to review if you'd like. Let's get into it. At a Christmas week dinner involving the illiterate royal, all guests and hired help were forced to sign an NDA. In addition, phones were confiscated and security was present. Finally, the hired help were body searched when arriving and leaving, not looking for weapons, but for notebooks, phones, and other communication devices. At first when I read this, I thought it was kind of extreme to be doing this, but then after thinking about it, I went back and started to research to see, do celebrities make people sign NDAs? And it turns out that it's not as uncommon as you would think. Like, take for example Justin Bieber. Whenever he has parties, he makes his guests sign a waiver that forbids them from talking about the party or posting any photos on social media sites, or they would be forced to pay a fine of up to $5 million. So it's not strange that Meghan Markle and Harry would do this. However, I do think that they probably take it to the extreme. Like, why are you body checking people? I think that's a little bit invasive and violation of human rights. I think what many people don't realize is that if they're giving an NDA to sign, 1, they need to read it properly, and 2, know that they have the rights to redline it and agree and not agree to certain things that are in there. Sometimes they'll put stuff in there, which I don't doubt, that will relinquish all rights to the individual. I can guarantee you that the house has cameras everywhere, probably even in the bathrooms. So, if I were the person on the receiving end, I would make note that they cannot, and I think California is a 2-party consent state, record any conversations. Now, I'm not sure if that is conversations only by telephone or if that includes video, or if security surveillance is something that bypasses the law. Either way, Meghan Markle and Harry hide behind these NDAs in order to abuse the people that work for them. I think that people should have the right to speak out, and within those NDAs, there should be an automatic termination clause if such abuse is conducted by the people who you're working for, which, right now it doesn't, and you're technically signing over your right to speak up as well as giving them permission to berate and abuse the individual without consequence. So now we're at January 10th, 2020, 2 days after Megxit happened. Judging by the A++ lister who is speaking out on the former actress and her husband's behalf, the A++ lister probably has figured out a way to get a little taste of whatever deals are signed, maybe even just a finder's fee, and that would be Oprah Winfrey. Quelle surprise. Now, this is 1 year before the interview, if you notice the date, as well as remember, Harry and Meghan were signing deals with these two since 2018. According to Tom Bauer's book, I am willing to bet the ranch that Oprah and Gayle knew that this couple were planning to separate from the monarchy before anybody else knew. I believe in this video from TMZ, Oprah and Gayle slipped up. Well, I think it's more Gayle that slipped up.
But they didn't make the decision in a vacuum. There were a lot of conversations. That's why I thought it was very unfair to say that the Queen was blindsided.
Yeah.
When even the Queen's own statement said these conversations
have been going on for months.
Yeah.
So
So
that
I thought
whole
that-
media story
yeah.
about they were blindsided.
And the Queen
that
treated
should-
shoddily.
Yeah, that's just not
that's
true,
not
because
true.
everybody's known for months that this was happening.
Yeah.
Hello,
There
you
have
got
been
both of
several-
us
I know.
There have
weighing
been
in.
several, there have been several discussions.
Yeah, several discussions. Hello,
There
you
have
got
been
both
several-
of us
I know.
There have
weighing
been
in.
several, there have been several discussions.
Yeah, several discussions about it.
This video is dated January 22nd, 2020. They both absolutely knew what was going on. Moving on. January 22nd, 2020. Good luck winning that lawsuit. The illiterate former actress wanted press outlets to have to pay her for photos, not the agency that took them. Notice, They're not being mean to the outlet that took the photos, only the ones using it. If you leave the bubble, this is what happens. I'm also not sure how you can compare someone in the woods you invited to being pursued in a high-speed nighttime car chase, but you love pulling that comparison. I love the shade that they throw at her. They calling out the fact that she compares herself with Diana, the Princess of Wales. Who could forget how absurd and pathetic she was to stage this pap shoot to make this narrative that she was being hounded by paparazzi? The woman was posing with a doll. And if you don't believe me, check out Sue Me's video on this. She proves that Meghan was carrying a doll for this pap shoot. Look how stupid she looks. No child would look so limp and be comfortable in that position. This was clearly staged because credit goes to the paparazzi that she has on speed dial. Backgrid. January 28, 2020. The shade continues. The illiterate actress turned royal turned whatever it is she is now wants to drop her lawsuit, but the tabloid isn't letting her off the hook. They don't even care if they lose at this point. They want their days in court and the spectacle of the trial. And that is with the Daily Mail. And I'll show you why she had a change of heart. And the reason why they were considering dropping it was because there was talk about Mr. Markle going and testifying, as well as Meghan having to approach the stand. She did want to get out of it, thinking about the prospect of having to testify if it went to trial. It's a good reason why they were pushing so hard for a summary judgment. Now, this next one is hilarious. There is no way on this earth that the illiterate former actress would turn down an invitation to present at the Oscars. Not a chance. She wasn't asked to do so. The Academy had their final list of who they wanted prior to them even moving. How sad and pathetic does one have to be to pay money to put out false information about being invited to the Oscars? Like, it is such a joke that they do this for many of the things that they want to be invited for. I mean, we just saw an example of them doing this at the funeral with the state reception. Despite it being a private event and earning in excess of $1 million, this couple didn't contribute a dime to the security costs incurred by 3 countries and 2 local police departments. So to refresh everybody's memory, right after Megxit was announced, they had lined up to go to Miami and give a speech to a bunch of billionaires at a JP Morgan summit, which was supposed to be kept on the down low. They were paid $1 million, which I highly doubt they paid any tax to Canada. They didn't pay any tax to the US, and I highly doubt they gave tax to Britain. Now, speaking of those 3 locations, guess who those 3 countries are? Canada, US, and Britain all paid for their security on the taxpayers' dime. I will estimate that they left Britain with at least $50 million in their pocket from the deals that Meghan was cutting and doing all those paid engagements, even though she wasn't supposed to be accepting money, to the photos of Archie, to the ITV. I mean, they left the country with money. So for him to go on television with Oprah and whine that his father cut him off, I'm sorry, shut up. The former illiterate royal wants an honorary doctorate. That is part of the deal she is trying to swing in addition to some type of honorarium. And that was Meghan Markle at Stanford. You know, I wouldn't put it past her to try and get one of these honorary doctorates at Stanford just to say that she has a doctorate from Stanford without having to do the work. Apparently, at that time, they went to the Center for Compassion and Altruism Research and Education around education on techniques for developing compassion and promoting altruism within individuals and society. Interestingly enough, Archwell today no longer has this center on their webpage. I'm guessing the pay for play angle was not working for Stanford, so perhaps maybe she's trying for UCLA since she's given a lot of money and she has the backing and support of the critical race theory and racist Safiya Noble. Make no mistake, one of these universities that have been indoctrinated with this woke ideology will, at some point, if Meghan pays enough money, give her this honorary doctorate. Don't think that it's off the table. The top marketing guru for the permanent A- list actress had a meeting with the illiterate royal. Can't wait for the new line of candles. And that was Gwyneth Paltrow probably meeting with the head of marketing at Goop. I'm sure she was able to get a meeting, but doubtful she got a call back. March 2nd, 2020. Apparently, the illiterate former actress will not even have to follow the theme of this year and can wear whatever she likes to that thing that happens the first week of May. Her husband is 50-50 on attending. Perhaps maybe she did get an invite. However, there ended up being no Met Gala because of the pandemic. Ooh, now this one is juicy. Says, I should emphasize that she did not say this directly to the person, but the former illiterate actress turned celebrity said to someone to tell this royal higher on the hierarchy to F off. Apparently, the one higher on the hierarchy was upset at something the former actress had done and promised not to do, but did anyway. And that was Camilla Parker Bowles. Ooh, I definitely believe this one. I remember when Meghan did this, it was purposeful to take the spotlight away from the other royals, and it was important to Camilla to shine a light on the causes that she supports around women, but Meghan decided to be selfish and take it away. I definitely believe this one. I remember when Meghan did this, as we're going through these blind items, you realize how malicious and vindictive Meghan Markle really is. And you gotta give it to the family for still maintaining class and being gracious. Now, I don't know if I believe this next one, but it says, this A+ list mostly movie actor has a much closer connection to this former B+ list actress than was previously known. As was his custom back in the day, he would often test out barely there celebrities. The actress was one of those, but he didn't enjoy his time with her and instead started hooking up with the former wrestler turned host. And that was George Clooney, and Stacy Keibler was the former wrestler turned host. What do you guys think on this one? I honestly have no idea. It's pretty telling that the studio didn't try to sign the illiterate former actress for any additional projects, and that would be Disney. We all know this, that the voiceover that she did completely bombed. Now this is funny. It says, it has nothing to do with Greek history. It's all about her. The name of the kid and the ridiculous, unpronounceable charity are essentially anagrams of her own name. It's always about her. And that would be Archwell. And you know, when you look at Archwell, they're right, because Archwell does spell Rachel. I don't know where the W comes in, but if you rearrange the letters, you get Rachel. Are essentially anagrams of her own name. It's always about her. And that would be Archwell. And you know, when you look at Archwell, they're right, because Archwell does spell Rachel. I'm guessing the W would be for Windsor. You would think having all that money, you could hire the best people in marketing to find a brand that represents who you are. And to come up with this out of your own name is just so tacky and so cringe and so predictable. The couple with the made-up reason for their new brand forgot one lesson. Get domain names before announcing the name. I remember this. They had an issue with some guy, I think in the Philippines, who had this name Archwell. It blows my mind that this woman has a business manager, an entertainment lawyer, marketing, PR, a full-on team, and they couldn't even get this right. Like, it just seems like they're a bunch of amateurs, and the amount of money that they are wasting on stupidity. Now, the next blind item is on April 11, 2020. Let's remember the time of year the pandemic was literally getting underway. And this one says the illiterate former actress has the best, if not the best team you could hire in town. Apparently, though, she has sent word out through her media mouthpiece to the North that she isn't happy with them. Why? No one wants to hire her at the rate she thinks she deserves. No one wants to hire her for the project she thinks she deserves. Her demands are much higher than reality. Oh, and as a side note, since she can't use the title any longer, the movie studio asked if she wanted to change the name under which she is credited. She said, of course not. And that is who she is, even if she can't use it any longer. And that is with Disney. Now, this one is slightly incorrect. I believe that she could not use the HRH title, but was still allowed to use the Duchess of Sussex. Well, Disney wasn't having any of this drama, so they shut her down immediately by saying that Meghan is the one that needs Disney more. Disney was not playing around. They know Markle is a controversial figure and could not take the liability by adding her to their brand. Now, I'm not so sure about how accurate this is. This was dated April 21st, 2020, where it says the fallout between the illiterate former actress and the permanent A++ list athlete is complete. The next level of shade thrown by the athlete this week towards the former actress was impressive. And now they're talking about Serena Williams. And I believe there was a tweet or a video that she had put out, kind of saying Meghan who, and kind of brushed it off. Personally, I think that friendship is 100% fake. It's only a relationship out of convenience. April 22nd, 2020. Apparently, it was deliberately planned to upstage the family member celebrating a birthday and a very, very long life. I think we could expect no less from the former illiterate actress who had all the air sucked dry from her thirsty throat when the virus hit, and she couldn't implement her plans as she hoped. All that sitting inside and not being able to be seen must be hard. And yes, she did try to upstage the Queen on her birthday because she is a jerk. So what did these two lowlifes do to ruin the Queen's birthday? Well, they decided to whip up some drama with the British tabloids and issue a scathing letter scolding them. This one I'm not too sure what to believe. I heard rumors, but it says the team or people associated with the illiterate former actress are trying to smooth ruffled feathers with a family member, which would then allow them a chance at winning an ongoing battle. Now, I heard, and it's just rumor, that their team was trying to somehow give Thomas Markle money in order to trap him to prove the case that he had been, giving information out because he wanted money. Now, Thomas Markle has always denied. I've never heard him say that Meghan has given him anything, nor has he talked to her since, I guess, a few years ago when they were having, Christmas before she got engaged. So I don't know. But then again, there's been a lot of mistruths and stories changing, so we never know. Now, the next blind item piggybacks off of what I was just saying in the previous blind item, where it says the parental unit of this A-list celebrity went online and checked his bank account last week to see if an online payment had processed. What he found was a mysterious $100,000 deposit from some corporation that only exists on paper. Someone planted it there for a reason. And that is Thomas Markle. Now, blind item sounds so suspicious. First off, if you get a suspicious deposit of $100,000 and you don't know where it came from, you're going to call the bank to find out who it is, or if it was a mistake, right? And second, if Thomas Markle had $100,000 deposited, at some point somebody would have leaked that he got this money, or Meghan would have made sure that everyone knew that she gave this money for her ailing father, and she's not so heartless and cold. Yeah, I don't believe this one. Now, this blind item didn't age well. May 1st, 2020. As I predicted, the illiterate former actress was going to have a tough time proving her claims even in a non-press friendly country. Why? Because the press did nothing wrong. It is a case she would never win here. Watch as this all goes away with a quiet settlement that she will later triumph as a win and something she did to protect her family. No, it is because she will get her butt kicked in a very public way. Now, there is some truth to this. Even though it didn't pan out completely like this person was in the right direction. So, yes, it was right that the press did nothing wrong. And yes, if this case was held here, she would lose. But it didn't go away because of a settlement. It's something similar. It almost went away because there was a summary judgment, which was not a full-on trial. So it was able to shut down. And I guess Markle was thinking that they were not going to appeal it, but they did. Anyhow, we saw how that turned out. And yes, she did get her butt kicked in a very public way, but we all know that she won based off of a technicality. So at the end, she did issue her virtue signaling note by saying she did the right thing and she did what was right, but it wasn't easy and blah, blah, blah. You know, it didn't play out the way that this person thought it would play out. But this person was definitely on the right track as to how she would have behaved. Now, this next blind item talks about what many had begun to start talking about in the media as well as on social media. And it says, what does an insecure, controlling person do? They isolate their victim. They remove them from their friends. They tell them to stop contacting their family. They make it harder to spend face time with the family. They do that to take away their support network. Moving you further from your home base also could mean a loss of job or purpose or schedule to keep you grounded. You start to rely more and more on the person who is insecure. The same in cults. I'm not sure the illiterate former actress could have picked a better scenario in her mind. What she may have forgotten from her time previously as an actress model / reality star is that Hollywood is a small town. Apparently, she was ticked off an A+ list mostly movie actress landed a role that our former actress thought should have gone to her. What's really interesting to see here is that she managed to do all of this and at the same time piss off the people that she needed to be successful with. I truly don't understand how her working relationship currently with the team is, considering all this stuff is coming out about her being such a nasty piece, right? You have to think, is Harry too far gone? I mean, he equally is nasty. The more and more I learn about this couple, the more I see that he equally shares the same traits as Meghan. It was the palace that had kept him in check and to hide a lot of this ugliness that we're now starting to see. And from what we understand and from what we have been witnessing is that Meghan is for herself. She is not for her children. She's not for Harry. She is for herself. So if it means to throw Harry under the bus to make her look good, she's going to do it. Actually, no, let me correct myself. She has done it. The only thing that I can think about or try to understand is that they both have to be miserable. And you know what they say, misery loves company. So, a lot of the things that she's doing, there's no doubt in my mind that in some way and in some form, Harry has approved it. And what makes this couple so dangerous is because they are so hateful and so malicious and vindictive. The power and the money and the access is not being used for the good of mankind. And the fact that they want to be influencers, it's concerning. And the reason why I speak out about this is because they should not be afforded any more special privileges because they have literally abused their platform. Now, this next one actually makes sense when you think about it. May 21st, 2020, it isn't really paying back money to the government if you are getting money from a person who is getting it from the government. or at least money that should have gone to the government in the first place. So it looks good when the illiterate former actress has her team put out a statement, but you have to look at more than just the headline. And this was Meghan Markle and Prince Harry paying back the money for Frogmore Cottage renovations, and it's the money that's coming from Prince Charles. It's astonishing to me how they grift off the backs of so many people. Like, they don't feel like they have to pay for anything. I severely doubt that neither Meghan nor Harry pay their taxes. And we know some funny businesses going on with the way that they have their business set up. And that, I think, is going to catch up with them at some point. But we must stay diligent on it. It's not okay for them to be getting all sorts of privileges and take, but they give nothing back. And that is the grift. That's what the royal grift is about. Now, this one is juicy. With the recent legal action, this royal couple is suing the illiterate former royal because it is one of her acquaintances that wrote the article that is causing all the trouble. Now, this is between Prince William, Kate Middleton, and Meghan. And if you don't remember what this was about, in my opinion, this was a hit piece that Meghan's team executed. It's not a coincidence that Jessica Mulroney's sister is connected to the writer who wrote this horrendous article filled with lies. And this is another example at how Meghan is a mean girl. And Jessica Mulroney is also guilty of being a mean girl as well, considering that she was there when Meghan was bullying Charlotte and did nothing to stop it. And this one, I think everybody needs to file away. It says June 1st, 2020. In an attempt to get even more security and to have it paid for, the illiterate former actress turned royal is having her people call reporters and tabloids complaining about drones and that they fear some of the drones might be lethal in targeting the family. This need for attention is getting ridiculous. It's more than just getting ridiculous. This is all about optics. And as we know that Harry had been trying his best to get back this paid security and his status since he lost it. So what do you think is going on? All these different incidents that we have seen between the drones and Harry going over to the UK for the Diana unveiling and the complaint that there were cars following him when there wasn't anything following him, as well as the calls to the police for their alarm being tripped off. Like, come on now. I can totally see Meghan Markle at night going around the house tripping the alarms. So it gives off the signal so the police can come. They have it on record. Now all of a sudden they're saying that, look at how many times we've been stalked and our safety is in jeopardy. We really need the security. This is all about optics in order to get this security. So I'm calling it out. Save this blind item because we're going to have to keep talking about it so people are aware that these are the tactics that they are using to paint this narrative that is false. Well, if they don't want people attacking them, then they need to stop attacking others. It's just that simple. They're partially at fault. If they didn't seek so much attention all the time, then they wouldn't need so much security. We're going to stop right here because they make me so mad. There's still a lot more blind items to go, but don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell button. I would love to hear what you think, and I will be back soon with more. Until then, bye.
It was such a fraud.